Hello, ACG. This is Dr. Mike Chua, physical therapist and certified dementia practitioner and the author of The Misunderstanding Dementia. Today, we've got a special guest for our ACG group, the Alternative Careers Group. And also, this will be also, what do you call this, posted in the left group. We call it League of Extraordinary Filipino Therapists, wherein, we try to encourage other Filipino therapists back home in the Philippines. So this is a simultaneous podcast video episode for our group. So ACG, please welcome our good friend, Mr. Engelbert de Vera. So we call him Bert the man. So
What's up, guys?
there you go. Well, before he goes first, I would like again to introduce him. He owns the therapy outsource company, and he coaches and teaches other therapists to be the best that they can be and start their own home health contracting business, and that's what I do now. We contract different agencies and provide therapy services to different home health agencies, and this is where I learned all this stuff from Bert. So that's what he's here for today. He's going to teach us how to start it, how to do it, and how to be the best that we can be. So anything that I missed, Sir Bert?
No, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me. That's pretty much it. I just go by Bert, and in my Facebook, if you see my profile, you'll see my long name Engelbert. But that's exactly what I do. As whatever Mike mentioned just a while ago, I teach PTs, OTs, and SLPs how to start a home health contract business from scratch. So this business model, which we're going to dive into in a little bit, is actually good for anyone who has a full-time job, anyone who has a solo gig doing cash-based practice, anyone who works in a nursing home, anyone who works in an outpatient or hospital, or whatever you're doing right now. Okay, this model can be an added source of income, an extra stream of income for you, added revenue, whatever you're doing and whatever discipline you're in. Even if you're a PTA or an OTA, don't think that you can't do this business model. I actually have one PTA in Florida who started this business, and it's really, really going great for this PTA. So, yeah.
All right. Well, so basically, the good thing about this, since we're promoting this through the ACG, the Alternative Careers Group, and also the League of Extraordinary Filipino Therapists, is that if other people can start outpatient clinics, hospital people, they're starting their own outpatient clinic there, and why can we not do it? So this is the reason why I wanted to reach out to Bert, and teach us in this group how to, branch out and own our own businesses, because we're all physical therapy. We're therapists here, and why let other people boss us around where we can be our own boss and be our own employer, and hire our own team and earn from it, and earn passively. So this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time to branch out and do it. Especially if you're a therapist, if you're a therapist or an assistant, you can actually do this. It's very, very basic and fundamental. There's nothing fancy. There's not rocket science behind it. It's very simple. So, all right. Well, first, I keep on going there, Bert. But tell us first where you're from.
Great. Well, thanks, Mike. I was going to introduce myself a little earlier, but I got carried away with what we're doing. Anyway, so guys, my name is Bert again, and I'm originally from the Philippines. I came here in the U.S. in 1998. No, I take it back. Fourth quarter of 1997, if I can remember correctly, September of 1997.
I wasn't even born yet that time.
Shut up, Mike. No, anyway, September of 1997, I was working for a company based in Tampa, Florida. For 3 months, they trained they trained us how to adjust with the American lifestyle. All right. So been here, for almost how many years now? 22 years?
I guess, yeah.
That's
my age.
Yeah. Mike is a comedian.
So anyway, computing. 22, you're right.
All right.
Yeah.
So I got my license in 98 after all the orientation and review and all that. So I've been a PT in Texas since 1998. So this is my 21st year as a PT here in Texas.
Oh,
So
wow.
make a story short, I was an employee like everybody else. I mean, most of us, when we're starting our career, we're starting as employees, right? So from 98 to 2003, I was working for somebody. And then in mid 2003, I had this itch of starting my own business. And at first, I was looking into starting a brick and mortar outpatient rehab. But I was scared. I was scared of, you know, signing a lease, getting a loan, and buying equipments, and not sure if that's the best model that I should, go for. So, but the reason I had that itch is because during that time, mid 2003, my wife and I, we were pregnant with our second child, and as I was driving home one time, I realized, you know, I had to do something. I was asking this question: what if something happens to me? What if something, happens to my job? What if there's a layoff, or they start firing people for whatever reason, or there's a budget change? Okay,
Which
what's going to
happens
happen?
all the
It
time.
happens all the time. It happens all the time. That's when I realized there's no such thing as job security, right? Even in the government, I'm pretty sure you can remember the government shut down. You know, even government jobs are not secured. So, guys, if you're thinking that a job is really secured, think again. There's no such thing. You're only as secured as your ability to come up with something to produce revenue. Okay, whatever skills you have, whatever ideas you have to execute, then your security is as good as that. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened. So when I realized, you know what, I need to do something. I don't want to do the outpatient model, and I discovered the rehab contracting or home health contracting model, and so that's what I did. I realized that you can basically have your own team of therapists, PT, OT, SLP, and provide services to home health agencies, and then bill for it without billing Medicare and no billing insurance. So that's my short story.
Wow, wow. You know what? You mentioned about security, and a lot of our listeners, in our group ACG and Left, we're always worried about burnout and security and stuff like that. And like what you said, there's no such thing as security. Security comes from within. It comes from within, and the confidence that you can provide not only for yourself but also for your family. So I love what you said. So if you really want security business wise or career wise, the best security that you can have is actually starting your own business, being your own boss. And this is what Bert is providing, us being our own boss, not really dictating the number of visits, because obviously insurance is still involved in this type of what you call this transaction. But at least you can decide and control who and where and when you're going to see your patients or contract with. Unlike with you being an employee, you can't say no, basically, unless you're a no or yes person. So yeah. So all right, well, I guess my next question, Bert, is that how can we start? Where do we start? Again, that's my next question. How do we start with? So where do we start?
Well, before I tell you where we start, I'd like to kind of piggyback on what you said about starting a business. You
Hmm.
know, Entrepreneurship is not for everyone because it might be simple, but it's not easy. If it
Hmm.
was easy, everybody would be doing it. Okay. But then what you need to do if you want to dive into entrepreneurship is you need to find out if this is something you really want to do. Okay.
Hmm.
You have to find your why. Okay.
Hmm.
Why do you want to be an entrepreneur, or why do you want to have a business? Okay.
Hmm.
In my case, my why was because I want to live my life in my own terms. I don't
Hmm.
want to be working for someone until I'm age 65 and retire and
Just like
start enjoying life.
5 years from now for you.
That's that's putting me in a box. And I don't
Hmm.
like that. See, the problem with PTs, OTs, and SLPs is this. We were trained to go to school, get our license, and find a job.
Hmm.
To me, that's a problem. It's like a factory mill. I don't like that idea. I don't like that setting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is why I decided to start my own business. Now, is business the solution? Not all the time, because the answer is you have to find the right business that
Mm-hmm.
fits your style. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I ask or I tell my clients is this: what kind of cash flow do you want? All right.
A lot, of course.
That's right. But what I meant by that is, do you want a cash flow where you're trading your time for money, or do you want a team of therapists working for you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference, because a lot of therapists will tell themselves, oh, I have a business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how many are there in your business? And
Just
they
one.
tell me, oh, I'm by myself. Call the shots, and I do everything myself, and I get paid this and that. I dictate my price. And I'm like, okay, so what happens if you can't work? Where's the business?
That's self-employed.
There's no business if you're by yourself. You are self-employed. You're right, Mike. Okay. Business is an entity where you have a team of people working with you or working for you, so that if you decide not to work, it still goes on. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
Revenue
definitely.
still comes in. Okay. Revenue still comes in. Okay. That's the kind of business that I'm talking about. That's what I want, and that's what I decided to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I have a team of more than 100 therapists in my company all over Texas. All right. And guess what? None of them are full time. They're all PRN. Okay. So if you don't have any full time therapists and all you have are PRN therapists, guess what? You can sleep well at night. Okay. You don't have to think about, oh crap, in 2 weeks I have to pay payroll, because you only pay what they did for you. And whatever they did for you is definitely going to be paid. And that's where the money's going to come from. Does that make sense?
Yep, yep. That's
Okay.
what I really like. Your that concept. Let's go back to a lot of therapists are wanting to go to that cash base. I myself, I'm opening up a small cash based clinic wherein I'll do the eval and send the treatment to my assistant or to my massage therapist. But with this concept, with Bert's concept, it's very scalable. I mean, imagine he's got 100 now. I really thought you got only 50. Now you got 100, and that's scalable. Just imagine, okay, if you're listening right now, I like to compute numbers. Let's just say he's got 100 people working for him, and he's earning, let's just say, $10 out of it. I'm not saying you're earning 10. You're probably earning more than that. Let's just say 10. So 100 times 10, he's got $1,000 a day. Okay, just that's a day. Let's just say times 20 days, 20,000 easily. So that's how you scale, and that's the reason why I really like Bert's idea, Bert's concept, because you don't have to work for it. It's really passive income coming in, and other people's, you use other people to earn money passively, just like Ray Kroc, the owner of McDonald's. He has the system in place, and he's earning money passively from all this franchises and people working for him. So I love that. And I really like what you said there, Bert. Find your why, and not all people are meant to be business owners or entrepreneurs. A lot of people grew up, their parents were employees, and, they survive and, had a good life. But I grew up with parents who had businesses. So I was really attracted to Bert's concept. So if you guys are interested in this type of concept wherein you want to earn money passively at the same time you're still doing what you're passionate about. I mean, I'm passionate about therapy, I'm passionate about dementia, and this is what I was called for. I was called to treat and take care of patients, and I can do the evals and delegate the treatments to your PTAs, and you're earning passively from it. And to tell the truth, that's the system already of the businesses out there. you know in home health companies, or you go to a nursing home, I doubt if you're a therapist or a registered therapist, I doubt that you treat patients nowadays. You're probably doing evals left and right and reassessment and discharge. And all the treatment goes to your PT assistants or your quotas. And if you're already doing it now, might as well earn money out of it. And that's Bert's concept, earning money out of the from your assistants. You're supervising them anyway. Might as well hire your own and earn money from it. So is that right, Bert?
Yes, yes. Actually, what Mike was mentioning is basically what I call restructuring.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So basically, if you're working for a hospital or nursing home or whatever facility, whenever you do an eval or a re-eval, you would delegate that visit to your assistant, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, you're only getting paid for what you did or whatever hours you put in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In my case, since I own a home health contract company,
Mm-hmm.
what we do is we contract as B2B, or what we call business to business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which now gives us the leverage, gives us the power to delegate that patient to a PTA or OTA. Of course, the eval for the OTA is done by an OT. I'm not an OT, I'm a PT. Um, and then we charge for that visit as a company. And that's how I would generate revenue, from that model. I think the best thing to do, Mike, is to explain how this works with numbers and give them an example, for example, with a case study of one total knee replacement. Will that work? Can I do
Oh
that?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, we,
All
we
right.
love numbers. I don't know about you. I like talking about numbers,
Okay.
especially dollar numbers,
Yeah,
not,
because I'm pretty
statistic
sure.
numbers.
Yeah.
I'm done with my doctorate. We don't want to study, but dollar numbers is great. So give me
Yeah.
that.
So I'm pretty sure for whoever's listening right now, the question is, okay, Bert, stop with the rambling. Tell me, how do you make money?
Hmm.
Right? So that's the whole purpose of listening to this podcast. You want to see how I'm making money as a home health contractor and how do I run my business with more than 100 therapists, PRN, right?
Hmm.
So let's dive into it. This is how I make money. We're going to talk about one total knee replacement. Okay.
Do you have a
This is,
PowerPoint there that you can share, or
no, I'll just explain it verbally. I think it's easy to follow.
okay?
Um,
I'm writing
you
it
know,
down.
you know what? I might, if I can share my screen real quick. Uh, so I'm going to show you guys how a home health contract business works. Okay.
Hmm.
So this is a case study of how I made $480 an hour in one total knee.
Hmm.
480 in 1 hour. Who makes that money, right? What PT makes that money, or OT or SLP, right? You're probably like, come on, man, this is too good to be true. That's not true. But let me show you the numbers. Okay. So this is what happened. I received a referral on a Friday.
Hmm.
I did the PT eval. And then my frequency was 1 week 1, 3 week 4, which is total to 13 visits. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, out of the 13 visits, 2 visits were done by the PT. That's me. I did the eval and discharge. Here in Texas, the common rate is about $75 minimum. And so for the 2 visits, I made $150. I made the eval. I did the eval and discharge, right?
Hmm.
Now, the 2 visits equal to 150. You'll see here how I made 480. Okay, 150 is part of that 480. Now the 11 visits in between out of the 13 will be was given to the PTA, my PTA that works for me, PRN. Okay, so 11 visits to PTA. I pay this PTA $45 per visit, and therefore my profit is $30. $75 minus 45, $30. Follow so far?
Hmm.
Okay. So the profit margin now is $30 times the 11 visits the PTA did. I made $330 passive income from the PTA. I
Hmm.
call it passive because I didn't do the treatment. The
Hmm.
PTA did it. Okay. The PTA is happy. I want to point this out. The PTA is happy because if this PTA gets sent home from the nursing home or hospital because their census is low, guess what? Will this PTA be happy? No, because they're cutting their hours short, right? They have
Hmm.
bills to pay. So what am I doing here? I'm solving a problem. Okay. I'm bridging the gap of the low census wherever this PTA works, because now I'm providing a job to a colleague. Does that make sense?
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm providing a job. So now let's continue. What happens here? The total income here is $330 plus 150, so equal to $480 an hour. And I'm saying 480 an hour because it only took me 30 minutes to do an eval, 30 minutes to do a discharge. That's minimum Medicare requirement. But of course, if you want to go beyond 30 minutes, then that's up to you. Okay. That's totally okay. Whatever the patient needs. Okay. So that's how I made 480 in an hour. Now, check this out. So again, 150 plus 330 equals 480. Now, the good thing about this is the power of delegation. Okay. Let's say I don't want to work. Okay. Let's say I want to go fishing. For most of you who knows me and you see my Facebook, you see my fishing videos. Let's say I want to go fishing and Mike is working for me. Hey, Mike, can you do the eval? Can you do the eval and the discharge for me on this patient? And Mike says, yeah, I got time. I'll do it. That's my beer money or whatever. Okay. So I delegate the 2 visits to Mike. Mike does the PT eval and discharge. The profit of $330 still goes to who? Mike or me?
Business owner.
To me as the business owner. That's leverage. Okay. So if Mike does the eval and discharge and I get the profit of $330 because I own the company, what's not to like?
Yeah.
Right? So this is how I make money. This is how home health contracting works. And check this out. Again, we don't bill Medicare. We don't bill insurance. We don't market to doctors. Okay. The agency does. Okay. And none of my staff are full-time. That's it. Okay.
So, all right. So now, I know I'm doing this, but so for those people who doesn't really know it, so how do we start it? I mean, I know you got the numbers here and everything. Where do we start? Do we?
Yeah. Let me talk about
the home health agencies or
no. The way you start this is there's 5 major steps you need to do. Okay. We won't have enough time if I go through everything, but 5 major steps you need to do. If you guys are listening to this, you better write this down, grab your pen. Okay. Number 1 that you need to do is set up your company.
Okay.
You can't do this as an individual.
That's right.
Because if you contract as an individual, guess what? They will only pay for the time you put in. Okay. So put up your own company, whether that's an LLC or S Corp. I don't care. Okay. Just put up a company. Now that company will be the entity that's going to do business with the agency. Okay.
That'll be the B2B, right?
That's the business to business right there. Okay. Put up your company. 2, okay. Gather your team. You got to have your team of PT, PTA, OT, OTA, and SLP. Okay. In my case, I'm a PT. So I hired PTAs. I hired an OT. I hired an OTA. I hired an SLP. Okay. And then scale it from there. If you want more PTs and PTAs and OT, OTAs, you just scale. Okay. Depending on what coverage area you want to cover. Okay. So again, 1, your company. 2, your team. Okay. 3, you got to have a contract. Okay. Built for this business. There's a contract that I use between my company and the agency. Okay. And then there's another contract between my company and the therapist. Okay. So there's 2 sets of contract. Okay. And I give away these contracts to the therapists that go through my course. Okay. I have a course where I teach you from the ground up. Like I said, from the very beginning, I give away this contract. Okay. That way you don't have to think about it. Okay. 4, okay. What you need to do is to have the billing software and the documentation software. Okay. So there's different documentations in the home care setting, and I teach you what software to use if the agency is not using one yet. Okay. So in my case, I know about 3 to 4 softwares. Okay. And you might say, hey, Bert, that's a lot to learn. No. The more software you know, the more marketable you are. That's and right. Software is actually not a problem, because eval is an eval. You know where to put your SOAP. Okay, you know where to put your goals. All you got to do in any software is find where to click. Once you figure that out, that's it. The way we do our evaluation is the same. You get the history, you get the objectives, set up your goals, your plans, you sign, that's it. Right? So don't get overwhelmed. Oh crap, I got to learn all this software. If your attitude is like that, you're not going to do business. All right? Number 5 is you got to know how to set up your daily operations. What happens from A to Z? What happens from the time you get a referral to the time that referral goes to your therapist, to the time that referral gets invoiced, to the time that invoice gets paid, and to the time you pay your staff, and to the time you put the money in the bank and you keep the profit.
There you go. We
Repeat
want the profit.
Rinse and repeat. Okay. Now, it's important in any business, guys, you have to make a profit. For those of you listening to this and thinking to yourself, no, I don't want to make a profit because I'm a therapist. It's bad to make money. I'm supposed to just do service. I would say get out of here. Okay. You're not even supposed to be a part of this group if that's how you think. All right. That's why you're an ACG right now. It's because, you know, you're looking for a way to make extra income, right?
That's right.
So profit is important because, you know why? Let me tell you this. I can't stress this enough. If you don't make a profit, you can't stay in business. If you can't stay in business, you're doing your patients a disservice because now you can't serve them because you're going out of business. Do you understand? You got to make a profit. Even the company you're working for, whether it's nursing home, home health, or hospital, you got to make a profit. Why do you think they're asking for your productivity? Impossible productivity. Why? Because they want to make a profit. Why? Because if they don't make a profit, they can't pay you. And if you're not productive and they're not making a profit and they can't pay you, guess what? They're going to fire you.
That's so true.
So if these companies you're working for are, you know, focused on making a profit to a point there where they ask you to do something unethical, and I don't want you to do something unethical, all right? I'm just pointing out why they're focusing on profit, because they want to stay in business. Now, can we make a profit and still hold high standards as a therapist? Heck yeah. You don't have to sell your soul or sell your ethics, your love for treating patients just because you want to make a profit. You can do both, okay? We're therapists first. We're clinicians first. We signed up for improving our patients' quality of life. But that doesn't mean that we can't get paid. You can get paid doing that, all right? And that doesn't mean just because you own a business that you won't do what's right. No, we always do what's right first, and the money will follow.
That's right.
I've done pro bono, and I'm not saying that to boast, okay? Because first, I'm a therapist, I'm a clinician, but I also want to make money to support my family because I think I deserve that, okay? I want to point it out real quick, Mike. We pursue what we think we deserve. If you think in your deepest core, if you think that all you deserve in life is work the 9-to-5 job, that's all you're going to get. Because that's what you think. That all you deserve is to work for someone 9-to-5 for the rest of your career. Well, what if you think and dig deep inside that you deserve to live, you know, a prosperous life? You deserve to have a business where you make money and be able to help others with the money you make, provide jobs for your colleagues. Okay? You have to ask yourself, what do you truly deserve? What you think you deserve, you will pursue.
You know,
all right?
You since we're already in the topic of making money, obviously we're not going to make millions in this, you know. I mean, not unless you're Bert, he's probably earning millions, but you know, when you're starting, we're not going to earn millions here. But the goal here is to get out of that alternative, find this alternative career or alternative passive income so we can provide more for our family. The goal here is to be blessed so we can also bless other people. How
That's
can
right.
you help other people? I always stress this in my in the dementia caregiver group that I support. We call them caregivers. You cannot give care if you don't take care of yourself. And same thing with taking care of somebody. You can't take care of somebody if you don't take care of yourself. And same thing with money. You cannot bless your son or your daughter or your kids if you yourself don't have enough money. The reason why I wanted to set up my business, I want to pay off all my debts. I want to pay off my school loans. And this one here will actually fast track what you're earning. And just imagine if you're working as a 9 to 5 job, and then you have this passive income coming in, $330. Just imagine what you can do with this money to pay off your school debt, pay off your car or your car loan, or your house. And just imagine that extra money that you have so you could also bless other people, not because you want to be greedy and buy fancy cars, but because you want to help other people too. We as therapists, we have a responsibility not only to help our patient, but bottom line, to help ourselves and help our family, not only have a good life, but be financially free too. And that's our goal here, to teach you how to be financially free and how to break out and bring the best in each other. So, any parting words of wisdom for us, Mr. Burt?
Sure. Thanks, Mike. To anyone listening to this podcast or video, I'd like to encourage you, if you want to do something else besides your 9 to 5 job, I want you to really look into what model suits your style. Okay.
Mhm.
If you want to have a team of therapists working for you, working with you, with less headache, with no requirement in dealing with Medicare, dealing with insurance, or marketing to doctors, I encourage you to look into this model. Okay. And this model is not something that will take you away from your passion. You can
Mhm.
actually do this, again, like I said earlier, in addition to what you're passionate about. I have clients who still do cash-based one-on-one with patients and added this model into their stream of revenue. So it's cash-based plus this, okay?
Mhm.
I have another one, Nina from Maryland. She was one of your guests.
Mhm.
She owns an outpatient clinic and then added this model to her clinic. That way, if the clinic is slow, then she can use her staff to do this as another source of income. All
Mhm.
right. I have Adrian from Illinois working full time in a home health agency and started his own home health contract company. All right. I have Mike Rivera from Modesto, California, used to work for an outpatient full time. In 3 months, he quit his full time outpatient job. His wife is also an outpatient PT. She also quit her job. They now have 7 employees and 2 company cars. And they can't thank me enough with this model that I introduced to them.
All
All
right.
right.
Now
And
I'm pumped
so,
up again.
guys,
All
this
right.
is not BS. This is not hypothesis. This thing works. I've been doing this since 2003, and I can give you videos on the testimonials and more in-depth videos on how this works. Okay. Mike will share with you a link at the bottom of this video, and Mike will put that in there. And if you click that link, there's 4 free videos that you can go through to see how
For
this works.
free? Gosh.
That's right. 4 free videos to see how this works, and it'll show you how to execute.
All right.
Okay. And if
Well,
you have, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and Mike will give you all the details. Okay.
awesome. Well, before we let Bert go, I just would like to recap what he said about the 5 steps. Okay. First is you have to, I've been writing it down. See, set up your company, set up your LLC or S corp or whatever. That way you can do a business to business transaction. Next is you have to have a team. Find your team. If you're a therapist or an assistant, you can hire your own. If you're an assistant, you can hire a PT and you pay them and you earn the extra money there.
That's right.
Next is you have to have a contract in place. Number three, the contract in place. Contract from your company to the company you're contracting with, and your company to your employees. Okay. And then number four, your billing structure. You have to learn and find a specific billing structure for your company. Last but not the least, your operations or your system in place. All those five are under Bert's free videos. Go ahead and watch it. Check out his website. It's called rehabpreneur.com, slash Dr. Michael Chua or whatever. When you log in there, just put down the link below and watch the video, learn from it. It's free. He even has that rehab summit. Is that right? Is that included there?
Yeah, that was something that we did way back in 2017, but we're trying to form another summit pretty soon.
Okay.
But that rehab summit is not there right now. So.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. So maybe someday he'll give it that for free for us. So, but again, thank you very much, Bert. Appreciate you for all the things that you've shared. And like what I said, I wouldn't be able to start my own business without his guidance, without his course, without his mentoring on me. I call him almost every day and talk to him almost every day and asking all this stuff. How do I do this? How do I do that? And I wouldn't be able to do all of this. You can check out my website, tntherapyoutsource.com, and I even copied his company name and added TN to it just so I could mimic. And genius and successes are not accident. Genius and successes leaves a trail. And what we need to do is follow that trail. And Bert has been doing it since 2003. I wasn't even born yet that time. And, he's leaving a trail. He's leaving, steps along the way, those footprints. And all we need to do is, follow that footprint, follow that way, and we can also achieve the same success he's been achieving. I'm not targeting 100 employees. I wish someday, but the goal here is to start that business and be financially free and be the best for not only for our patient, but be the best for your family, be the best for your kids and your future. We don't want to live just we want to be significant, but in reality, we want to leave a legacy to our family. And when you start a business, you're leaving a legacy for your family and for your business, not unless it becomes bankrupt, but, you're leaving something, like what Bert said. If something happens to him right now, his wife can take over and just operate it. Boom. If
That's
you're
right.
an employee, yes, we may have those life insurance, but that's probably $500,000, but it's going to be gone instantly. But with a business, it can still operate and continue, and provide the, good financial support for your family. So again, thank you very much, Bert. We appreciate you coming, join this group. Again, thank you very much, ACG. We're going to have more, interviews like this with other influencers and, promote and educate you and how to find your ideal career. But for now, again, thank you very much, Bert. Thank you very much, ACG and League of Extraordinary Philippine Therapists. Appreciate you. Have a great evening, and thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you, Mike, for having me. I appreciate the time you took to have me here in your show. And like I said, for anyone who wants to reach out to me, just click the link in this video and I'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.